Pledge allegiance, please. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Thank you. And the clerk will call the roll, please.
Councilmember Archibald?
Here.
Councilmember Huron?
Here.
Councilmember Lamb?
Here.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Here.
Councilmember Payton?
Here.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Here.
Mayor Ashford?
Present. Council members, you have before you the minutes from the September the 22nd meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald and supported by Councilmember Mosrak. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, motion carried. Next item.
Presentations? Proclamation declaring October 15, 2025 as Support Your Local Chamber of Commerce Day in Port Huron.
Okay, we have the representative here, Sarah. Okay, can you, okay, and Georgia, can you both join me at the podium, please? Thank you. Okay, well, this is a proclamation from the City of Port Huron, certificate of recognition, I should say. It says, whereas the Blue Water Area Chambers of Commerce, founded in 1917, has served as a cornerstone of economic growth and community leadership for more than 100 years. And whereas throughout its history, the Blue Water Area Chambers has supported numerous businesses across Port Huron and St. Clair County, fostering an environment where commerce and community thrive together, and whereas the chambers work to strengthen the region by fostering innovation, promoting economic prosperity, enhancing quality of life, and creating opportunities for businesses of all sizes. And whereas the chamber serves as a trusted resource for more than 600 members, connecting entrepreneurs, employers, and community leaders through advocacy, education, and networking opportunities. And whereas the Blue Water Area Chambers has recently celebrated significant achievement, including record new membership in 2025, the successful launch of several signature events. And whereas the chambers continue to build catalytic partnerships across industries, nonprofits, and governmental entities, ensuring a resilient economic and vibrant community for the Blue Water region. And now, therefore, I, Anita R. Ashford, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Port Huron, and on behalf of council members Archibald, Horenza, Lamb, Mosrak, Payton, and Pemberton, do hereby proclaim October 15, 2025 to be Support Your Local Chamber of Commerce Day in the city of Port Huron, and encourage all our residents, businesses, and organizations to recognize and celebrate the chamber's enduring contributions to our local economy, community development, and collective prosperity. In witness whereof, I do hereby set my hand and cause the corporate seal of the city of Port Huron to be affixed this 13th day of October 2025. I congratulate you, and let's give them a round of applause for 100 years. Yeah, and would you, either you like to have a few words?
Yes. So Sarah and I are actually both very new to the position, so we very much appreciate that you've taken the time to do this. We couldn't do what we do without the support of our municipalities throughout the greater Port Huron area for all of our businesses. And really, this day isn't necessarily to recognize the chamber as such, it's to recognize that the chamber is here to support our businesses. And we know that specifically in the city of Port Huron in the next couple of years, our businesses in our downtown corridor are going to have some challenges that coming off of the the challenges of 2020 to 2024, it's going to be a tough time. So we appreciate your support today, and we hope that we continue to work together with you and all of our municipalities to make sure that our businesses have the resources and the support from us and from the community. So when you have a chance to go out to eat and to shop, shop local, and especially on Wednesday, remember that. So thank you.
I agree with everything that Georgia just said. We appreciate you guys taking the time for this today. Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do for us. Thank you. Okay. And now we come to the time where this is public comment. If anyone in the audience wishing to address the city council on any agenda item or any matter under the city's jurisdiction, now is the time to do so. You are allotted 1 4-minute opportunity to make your comments. Please begin your comments by stating your name and address for the record. So, and remember. Oh,
Hi.
Well, hello there.
Joe Pavlo, representing 64th District. I live at 350 Scott Road, Smith Street, Michigan. I'm going to go first because I'm doing my trifecta again. I was up in Grant Township, and I'm here, and then from here I'm going to go to Marysville. So if I don't stay after, it's not because I didn't like it here.
Okay.
I'm starting to feel comfortable here, like it's home, so I'm maybe thinking of getting a bed over here and just kind of spending some time. No, I'm kidding. I do want to speak about 3 things tonight. Number 1 is the budget. The budget was 1,000 pages, so I'm not going to get into much detail on it. But I do want to mention that we passed a bill that said that if we do not have a balanced budget we wrote a bill. That if we do not have a balanced budget by July 1, then our pay stops. And it had to be a 2/3 majority vote. All of the Republicans voted for it, and it was 4 Democrat votes short. So we're going to put that bill through again because we need to have a law and we need to have some definite punishments after. We also passed a bill back in March that was called the Government Budget Shutdown Prevention Bill. And what that said was that we are not allowed to shut the government down. And so we passed a 1/4 budget, which was 25%. That's where a lot of people thought that we cut education by 75%. And we said, no, that's misinformation. We didn't get that. But that came in handy because the Senate did not sign it at that time. But they did sign it at 1 minute after 12 on the day that that the government was to shut down. So the government did not shut down. We had a continuing resolution, and we were able to put the rest of the details together, and finally it went to the governor. We didn't get everything that we wanted in the budget, but we did cut the taxes, and it is much better, and we're funding schools better, and so on. If you want to know more about that, go to the House webpage, and you'll see the details there, or go to my webpage or Facebook, and you'll get the information there. Unfortunately, our canal project did not get in that budget. With all the videos that we made and bringing the representatives over here for boat night and all of the talk that we did, and James Freed coming over to Lansing and speaking, and us taking the boat ride out to the end of the canal out there with the 22 representatives, it still did not get in the budget. Part of that is because the budget was cut, obviously, and there were a lot of projects that were very, very important. But when I talked to Representative Ann Boland, who is the Appropriations Chair, she sits directly behind me in the House. She said, all is not lost yet because there's been $120 million that has been set aside for special projects that could still be done. So we're in the process of trying to mount a community community project so that we've gained the support of everyone. So be watching for that, because we did have some signatures that were turned in, about 100 of them, but we need more in order to be able to have an effect. So I need the support of everybody in Port Huron that wants that canal done. And the last thing, I'm going to ask for your prayers. Tomorrow I'm going to be speaking to the State Board of Education. They're in the process of trying to change our curriculum, especially the sex curriculum. I believe in local control, and they're taking the local control away from the districts. And they're also taking the responsibility of teaching their children away from the parents. I believe the parents are the primary educators of their children, and I will not stand for those things. So pray for me that I'm able to help change their minds in doing this, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, and God bless. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to come forth?
Good evening. My name is Donna Drake. I live at 2812 Wright Street. And I would like the council to give us an update on the sale of the Dunn Paper Company. Also, what the council's position would be on that. And has the Michigan Environmental Control Agency been advised of that sale? That's it.
Okay, thank you. We'll make sure that the manager addresses that.
I'm sorry?
We'll make sure the manager address that tonight. Is there anyone else like to come forth?
Hi, my name's Jenna Joseph, and I wanted to bring attention to the speeding problem on Garfield Street, primarily in front of the Early Childhood Center and Crawl School. My daughter is 4, so she goes to the Early Childhood Center and does the GSRP program there. My father lives on Garfield, so we park there and we walk every morning there, and the speeding is bad. And I started paying attention, and there are 0 speed limit signs on Garfield Street, and there are also no school zone signs in front of the school on that side. And I know that people in the community in Riverside have talked about the speeding before. Again, I don't reside there, but my father does, so I can't really speak to where they complain about it, but I know that it's been an issue, and apparently some of the teachers there have also complained about speeding there, so I just wanted to bring that to attention. It's very scary, and it's bad. I mean, like these are little kids that are walking in front of the school, and I'm seeing people that are going like 30 to 40 miles an hour on that road, and they don't even notice it because these are newer cars. It's very easy to speed in those cars, especially when there's no sign saying, hey, you need to slow down. I did call the non-emergent line and asked for patrols out there, and I have not seen any, but I'm not sure if they have had time to brief about that. I just called the other day. So that was all. Thank you.
That's good, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Jim Soto, Lakeview Avenue, and I want to just briefly say my support for resolutions 25-128 and 25-129, the purchase of 200 trees, which I just saw a Facebook post for if citizens, if they want to get a tree from the city, they could fill out a form. I'm hoping I was the first one to submit it. I would like a London plane tree, please. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it would be really great. So 25-128, I think it is purchasing 200 trees is no-brainer. I hate to use that phrase. 25-129, myself, Tyler Moldovan, and Jeff Gushman pitched this idea to Mayor Ashford of forming a reforestation task force. And the idea behind this task force is we're going to do the heavy lifting. We're going to roll up our sleeves. We're going to come up with a slate of recommendations, give you a report, and it's up to you. That's the idea here. There are a bunch of us that want to see more trees in the city, and 200 is a great start. We need more. Because I want to draw your attention to 2016. Back in 2016, there was a wonderful grant application for a DTE tree planting grant. And in that grant, there's one little page here. Now, it says removed, trees removed. If I'm reading this right, and I hope I am, actually weirdly, I hope I'm wrong in reading this right. From 1992 to to 2016, it says 4,298 trees were removed. Now, I don't want to fault anybody, because this was during the time period of the emerald ash borer, and it really hit the city hard. And that's coming off the heels of the Dutch elm disease. We've never really caught up. And we would like to have this task force so that, again, we can try and catch up with these historical losses, bring all of you a batch of recommendations, and hopefully we can regrow our, together, our tree canopy. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else wishing to address it?
I'm Chris Lemanky, Beard Street. I want to make the city council members aware that on March 18th, 2025, I was performing an audit on Officer Tristan Shouty, badge number 45, patrol car 13, which was approximately 8:10 in the morning. After auditing him for approximately 20 to 30 minutes prior to him pulling into what he alleged was private property, he pulls me over and immediately asks me, "Crystal, can you hop out of the vehicle for me?" I assert my constitutional rights as I am very live on YouTube Live. He enters my vehicle, opens my door, and unbuckles my belt. I contact 911 as I fear for my safety, as he is the only officer on scene in a secluded area, and I was already aware of Tristan Shouty's aggressive behavior due to him punching Charles Reid in the face and another acquaintance having the same conclusions of the Port Huron police officer. He tried charging me with a felony offense, police officer assaulting, resisting, and obstructing, and a 180-day misdemeanor of misuse of 911. All cases were dismissed and never bound up to circuit court because there was no probable cause that the initial traffic stop was lawful. I was not trespassing. Officer Shouty was mad because I was auditing him, so he violated my constitutional rights to try to show his power he ultimately didn't have. He broke his oath of office under section 2(3) through 30, which is the oath of office, which you can all refer to. Evidence was withheld, perjury was committed, and I was falsely arrested, falsely imprisoned, assaulted, trespassed against, and my constitutional rights were violated. And still are being violated by your courts as we speak today. But all of that's for another day. Officer Tristan Shouty needs his gun and badge stripped of him, relieved of his duties, and charged with many crimes that he keeps getting away with under Charles Reid, and many occasions thereafter under City Manager James Freed. Why? Because his father is Todd Shouty, the city manager, not an excuse. His behavior and violence against the people of Port Huron and officers every day are violating the people of Port Huron's rights. Through the courts, through the judges, through the city attorneys, through the city managers. There's corruption that needs to be weaned out of this system. For the people's safety, in these streets that the people are supposed to feel safe. It's unfair for the people of Port Huron to be victims of violence from our Port Huron police officers, our St. Clair County police officers, Sheriff's Department, everybody that took their oath into office. They signed that when they sworn in. As all city members, city ordinances have to abide by one thing, and that's the Michigan Constitution and the Constitution of the United States. And that is what the people are being made aware of every single day by people like me who do audits on the Port Huron Police Department and the St. Clair County Police Department, because they need to be made aware. And I feel the city, the mayor, the city manager, you guys need to investigate this, because it's happening every day within our city. And the people have
Your time is
constitutional
up.
rights are being violated. Thank you.
All right, thank you for coming forward.
Eileen Tesh, Algonac. First, I would like to start with prayer. In Galatians chapter 6, verse 7, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever one sows, one shall also reap. So I'm sure most of you have heard or read that Kevin Watkins, president of St. Clair County NAACP, St. Clair County Health Advisory Board member and employee of SC4, was reprimanded by the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners last week for his rhetoric about assassination of other health advisory board members. Even Attorney Fletcher could not believe when he watched the video. It's about time that bad actors are held accountable in this city and in this county. Unfortunately, as Crystal Mankey just talked about, is with respect to Tristan Shouty, Officer Tristan Shouty, he's been rewarded for his misconduct after violently punching Charles Reed, a poor, drunk old man, in the face. When the body cam was leaked, the world witnessed an unhinged police officer. For those that you have not seen the video, you can go to Fox 2 News. It is difficult to watch. I'm just warning you. Let's see, did he get fired? Did he get a demotion? Did he have criminal charges filed? None of the above. In fact, he got a promotion and a raise thanks to City Manager James Freed. Does it have to do with the fact that his father is Todd Shouty, the city and county attorney? In fact, the city manager, James Freed, in an email to me said, when I asked about the video and why it wasn't released in a timely manner, he said he objected to me using the word assault. Well, the lawsuit was filed on behalf of Charles Reed against the city, Port Huron Police Department, and Tristan Shouty, and it was recently settled out of court, naturally, for an undisclosed amount. The people have a right to know how much Shouty's misconduct cost the taxpayers. I've been following Crystal Mankey's case and the unlawful arrest. As she said, the judge dismissed all charges. And according to Crystal, when she called 911 for backup, for fearing for her safety and because of Shouty's violent history, he got back on with the dispatcher and canceled the 911 call. And unfortunately, it looks like another lawsuit for the city and the police department. And every one of you deserves to be recalled for allowing this kind of management to go on, especially with our men in blue, men and women in blue that we support, the good ones.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else?
Good early evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
distinguished councilmen and women. I didn't plan to come to this meeting tonight, but something told me to come. That's guided me. Thank you, Jesus. That was ridiculous. And giving a point of reference to that, that is an example. Of course, I'm Kevin Watkins. I serve on the Health Advisory Board and many other things. What I'm proud of, appointing Young Branch NAACP president, is I serve on the advisory board, the only African-American person in the county that serves on any board or commission in St. Clair County. I'm not sure we ever had one. And because of that, we have certain people that are very intimidated by intelligent black men, very intimidated when there are people that have a dissenting opinion because they may have the majority or a different opinion and speak facts and have documentation and research, data, best practice behind them in issues that they're against. One like with polluting water with fluoride, and we have tons of data showing that they're wrong. Now it's very interesting, the same people are saying that the vaccines cause autism, but now I guess they say Tylenol is what's causing the autism. I need to have some conversation with Dr. Nemeth about that and some of my fellow advisory board members. But this is one example. That's just a touch of example of the defamation of character. And I use the word character assassination, figuratively used throughout decades of people. You look at the etymology of the word, or what that means. Figuratively, character assassination is basically defaming someone in public to harm them in many ways. Now, I wrote a rebuttal to that nonsense she's talking about. I'm going to read to you. In recent days, during my service As St. Clair County Advisory Board member, concerns have been raised regarding my use of the term character assassination in response to some hateful public remarks towards me. While I understand that certain words can evoke strong reactions, I wish to make it clear that my intent was never to cause any fear, but to express the pain and injustice often felt when integrity is questioned without understanding or dialogue. It is evidence that my words were taken out of their fuller context, respective of a figurative nature, yet I acknowledge and respect the St. Clair County Board Commissioners' responsiveness and sense of duty to the people they serve. The very fact that we can disagree in public, debate openly, and still meet each other in the spirit of accountability is the essence of democracy. I'm grateful to live in a nation and a country where freedom of speech, I repeat, freedom of speech is both exercised and protected. I stand firm in disagreement with the outcome of the reprimand, but I accept it as part of a growing pains of a free society, a society where truth, healing, and justice are often born through tension. Because of this action against me, my resolve is not diminished. In fact, it is strengthened. I will continue to stand in for the voiceless, advocate for the broken, and to defend those unjustly accused. I strive to remind us all that there are always two sides to every story. Our goal should be to take those stories and build a bridge between them. And I'm going to speak because I'm an NAACP president. The NAACP's mission has always been to advance equality through understanding and action. This moment only renews our commitment, my commitment in doing such, in faith, with courage, and with love. That's me. All this information character is not me.
Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you. Do we have anyone else wishing to come before the city council?
Brian Farquhar, 19th Avenue. I'm just here for the trees. Complete support in both of those resolutions, 25-128 and 25-129. Of course, I have my own idea. I'd like to spin on it a little bit. Some of you in this room may know, a lot of you probably don't know, the city owns a small piece of property at the end of Glenwood. Right next to the doctor's offices there and the rest of it, directly across the street from my father's house. Okay, I know my dad's been hard on Mr. Freed this year on getting that piece of property cleaned up. There's been some homeless people living over there, and I know they've moved them along and out, and they keep coming back and the rest of it. But here's an idea to solve it. On my way in, there's 3 dead trees on that piece of property. Okay, so next spring, let's cut down those trees, and let's develop our own little pocket park for the fishermen down there, because that seems to be what it's mostly utilized for, is people down there fishing. And let's, we can take a bench from, possibly utilize it from a different park as we're getting new stuff in and the rest of it. But that's a place we can easily put 3, 4, 5 trees on a piece of city-owned property, make it better. Right now it's all dying, overgrown, it's a mess. It is gonna cost some money to clean up initially, but it's not gonna be much. It's gonna be forestry down there, cutting some stuff out, removing some stuff, taking some old logs out, clean up whatever rock and trash is there along the bed, and now we have a nice usable riverfront for the Black River, and we have these trees that we're looking for places to plant. So that's all, complete support. You guys finally got something right. Way to go.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Curtis Carl, Port Huron Township. Got to start with thank yous. Thanks for cutting trees, trimming the trees at the boat ramp, 12th Street boat ramp. I know I squawked about that a couple times, but I might be the only one thanking you, but there are other boaters that use that boat ramp, and I've talked to them, and they were happy about seeing that done as well. Thank you for getting started on Kearney Street. I know it's October, but hey, as long as the weather holds out and you get that, it's all ripped out, we're making progress. And I'm happy to hear that Water Street is on the schedule for next year. If we make it through winter without any car repairs, then I'll be a very happy camper. The trees, the trees, the trees. Trees are being choked out. Remember that lady who was here about a month ago? She walks her path and you guys untethered all them trees? I've been taking 13th Street because the pier's closed at 16th Street, and when I'm going up 13th Street and I'm looking at all these beautiful trees you guys put in some time ago, most of them are still being choked off. Can we unchoke all the trees, not just the ones that were on that lady's path that's in the horticulture, whatever? Don't discriminate from one tree to the next. Untether them babies. And we're moving on to the pocket park. I know we're talking about a pocket park. Mr. Farquhar wants to put another one up. We ain't done with the one we're working on currently, about 5 years into, and I know we've had our hiccups. But the completion date that we talked about, pushing it off to later next year, that is unacceptable, in my opinion. Why can't we get it done by the end of June? I know we've got problems with body. They're trying to finish the pier. It's a hot mess. We got no curbs in. We got no asphalt. On the sewer social media, I heard that they're going to lay the asphalt down and do the curbs later. I don't know, to get out doing fines. I know you're shaking your head. Maybe you can give us some clarity on that. Like, it came from the sewer of social media, James. So we just need some clarity on that. And it just seems like it's ongoing. You know, I don't know. There's just not a lot of work going out there. But let us know. In the pocket park, when we started that, did we have any engineering done? And if we did, can we get some money back from that failed engineering study or whatever? They should have caught that there wasn't enough solid ground underneath to support the post, blah, blah, blah. If we get some money back from that, maybe we could, I don't know, do something good with it. But like I said, the completion date for that park should be a goal to have that done before Boat Week. And this is a good one here. Where is all the money from the pot shops going? I don't know if Google's correct, but it says $174,000 we generated back in '24. They say we get $58K per shop. We got 4 right now. Not sure. What are we doing with that money? Are we allocating it towards one thing? Are we just using it towards these lawsuits with that event that she's speaking about with that officer? That's why I drive the speed limit. That's why I stop at every damn stop sign in this town. I don't want to be in her shoes. I sure don't. I don't know what more to say on that. But I do. I fear the blue, that blue, but I back the good blue.
Thank you very much. Mr. Curtis? Is there anyone else wishing to come before the Port Huron City Council?
Hello, I'm Austin Wells. I'm born and raised right here in Port Huron. I actually just want to bring to your attention 24th Street Bridge and the sidewalk that's there. There's huge chunks of the concrete that's missing. I can actually see rebar on the middle section of it that's peeking through. I work within the factories as well, and a lot of the people that work there actually say the sidewalk is dangerous. Some of the times they say that a shovel never touches it, there's no salt. It is extremely dangerous. They have to walk in the footprints of other people, or they risk slipping and falling into the guardrails. We need to do something about that because, you know, I know Freed last city council meeting, you were saying that you wanted more people to work in these factories. A lot more of the manufacturing needs to be done. Well, a lot of the people that work in these factories don't own cars. They're down on their luck. They're probably coming from rehab, really trying to turn their lives around. And we kind of owe it to these people to, you know, give them a better, safer travel to get to these work sites, to keep them in these manufacturing jobs, especially with some of these ones like USF is going to get another warehouse, and they're probably going to be hiring like crazy again, like they usually do. It'd be nice to see a safer sidewalk for people to get over to those manufacturing plants. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Aaron Kreiner. I just want to thank the mayor for the appointment to the Beautification Commission. I appreciate that. And to kind of piggyback on the Marine City trees, the trees that are going to be planted. It said on there that part of the quote was for tethering the trees. Kind of piggyback off the comment, trees do not need to be tethered. If they're planted correctly, all you're doing is ruining the bark on the tree, and you're hindering the growth. You want that tree to move around. It creates a stable and a better root base. So I suggest not even tethering the trees. I just planted a tree in my yard 2 years ago. No tethering, no nothing, straight as an arrow. You want that thing to move around. That's how you build the root base on there. And it's part of wanting to be on that beautification committee. I take pride in the flowers and the plants and the trees that I grow. I'm no master gardener by any means, but I do know a thing or two about flowers and trees. So, somebody had made a comment about Garfield and stuff being a speed, racetrack. I live on Taylor Street, and because Lapeer Road has been tore up, and it's been like this even before the road was tore up. But now, I'm telling you, I get speeders coming down. You want to pay for the Tanner Gate? Come down there, set a cop in my driveway, and you will write tickets all day long. It is ridiculous. I've talked to the police out here that are doing the screening before you come in. 2 meetings in a row now. I've mentioned it. I haven't seen any enforcement or anything. It is nonstop all day, speeders, and it's unbelievable how fast they're going. I don't see a speed limit sign, but everybody should know residential is 25 miles an hour. But if I could get a sign or a flashing thing out there, I'm tired of when I yell, because I'm always on my front porch, to slow down. I get the middle finger. I get people locking up their tires. I don't want it to come to any kind of violence or anything like that because somebody's mad because I'm telling them to slow down. We got kids walking around all over. But I've mentioned it twice. I haven't called the police hotline, but one of the sergeants out here was part of the traffic thing, and I told him, but it doesn't seem like anything's being done. So maybe you guys can help with doing something on that. Other than that, that's it. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, yeah. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to come forward?
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city leaders. My name is Ignacio Balsamo, president of Oakwood Building Company, resident of Macomb County. I'm here to address the letter that I emailed this morning in reference to 515 River Street. In addition to the letter, I wanted to add that Oakwood Building Company has been in business since 1989. I've been its president and sole owner since 2008. And have never encountered any of the issues that I've encountered on this particular contract. And I also asked that that I get paid for the June pay application. I want to get paid, and I need to get paid for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dawn Falk from Port Huron Township. So good evening and thank you for your time. I'd like to address the issue of fluoride in our public water. Fluoride only helps teeth when applied directly or topically through toothpaste or treatments, but when swallowed, it circulates throughout the body, building up in bones and organs. That is not prevention, that's unnecessary exposure. Clean water should be just that, clean water. There are safer, effective options out there. For example, xylitol is a natural sweetener that reduces cavity-causing bacteria, stimulates saliva to protect teeth, and also remineralizes teeth, same as fluoride, without the systemic or body-wide risk. It is readily available in sugar-free chewing gums, toothpaste, mouthwashes, baked goods, syrups, etc. But the real foundation of oral health isn't chemicals in our water, it's good oral hygiene. Daily brushing, flossing, healthy diet choices, and regular checkups make the biggest difference. Imagine if public health nurses came into schools to teach children these skills, knowledge that lasts a lifetime. I remember way back when I was a child back in school in the 60s, and the nurses came to my elementary school and taught us how to properly brush our teeth and how to use those little red disclosing tablets to show where we had missed brushing. That's been many years ago, and I still remember. Right now, water fluoridation removes choice. Those who want fluoride can easily access it in toothpaste, mouthwashes, tooth floss, dental treatments, and food sources, many, many food sources. Also, it's in sodas, soups, it's all over the place fluoride is. But the rest of us have no option for fluoride-free water. I urge you to consider removing fluoride from our public water supply while promoting health through education and safe alternatives. Let us protect both our teeth and our overall health. Also, I would like to thank Mayor Ashford for replying to my email that I sent to every elected official on this board on September the 14th. I emailed you all Dr. Nevin's fluoride in St. Clair County Public Water Systems Memorandum dated June 17th, 2025, Kimball Township Resolution 2529 declaring Kimball Township opposition to addition of fluoride to the water system, and the 50 reasons to avoid fluoride document. I realize that I am not a resident of Port Huron, but my township does get its water from Port Huron. So this does directly affect me and the almost 11,000 residents of Port Huron Township. I would have appreciated a response from the members of this board in regards to my concerns about fluoridation of the public water system. Mayor Ashford was the only person professional enough to respond to my email. Thank you, Mayor Ashford. I really appreciated that. Also, I took the liberty of emailing you all yet again. Today's email topic is 10 fun fluoride facts. It's a quick read. It's under 5 minutes long. I hope you all read it. And I will see you next month with more fluoride facts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address the step forward, please?
Hi, my name is Ashley Balsamo, Ignacio Balsamo's wife with Oakwood Building Company. And I would just like to say that the contract should be analyzed by everyone here and read and looked at, and the timeline should be looked at, and the definitions should be looked at, because the definition of waste should be analyzed, because that's why we're not getting paid, allegedly, is because we took things to a scrap yard. We recycled items and had proof of these things, but because they didn't go to a landfill, their specific landfill, and many other discrepancies along the timeline here. This has been going on for months. We've been doing work for many different cities. This has never had an issue. We have 4 kids. I mean, I haven't even paid my mortgage because this job was his only job for the however many months that we were going through this. I'm here on my birthday to support him. And this is getting ridiculous. It really is. I wish somebody else would get involved other than the city manager at this point. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to address the council this evening? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll move forth with the agenda. Number F, please. Yes, read it.
City Manager's Administrative Report for August 2025.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. You have my written report before you.
I will add, I had a meeting on Friday with all the heads of Port Huron schools, including the school principals, the superintendents, and key leadership within the school district. Many of the things we talked about. One of the things that came up is traffic safety around the schools, not just Crawl, but also Roosevelt as well. So I am working with the school district and our engineering department to develop a plan to put some traffic calming and safety devices around those schools. So we are working on that, Ms. Joseph.
Excuse me, ma'am, that's out of order.
I'll be here afterwards if you want to talk.
Okay.
Also, the Dunn Paper site, Eagle is aware of the property transfer and is what's going on there, so Eagle is briefed. So we're kind of holding tight on that. The Pocket Park, we're getting the bonding for the guy who's going to be doing the footings in the pavilion there. We expect the footings to be in the next couple of weeks, the railings to be in, so all the concrete work and footings will be in, and the railings will be in before winter, so it will be usable during the holiday season. And then the steel structure will rapidly go up in April, early April, maybe May, depending on the frost. So that Pocket Park will be buttoned up. It will be usable this winter. One thing that's interesting about the MDOT projects is Lapeer is actually an MDOT grant project using federal funds. We received $1 million or so to help fund that project. There is in federal contracts for subcontractors who are disadvantaged or minority, there's a special caveat for them. One of those contractors was our concrete subcontractor. It was the same person as well who was at the Blue Water Bridge Plaza. Both those subcontractors dropped the Bridge Plaza project and our contract as well in Lapeer. So we had to go out and get a new subcontractor, which we have, and that's all in the works. So next Tuesday, curb and gutter and sidewalk will be going in on Lapeer. That project is still on schedule. There's a significant underground work to be done, significant grading issues as well, which I'll talk about later on in the meeting as well. So that project is on schedule, will be buttoned up before winter, but we did have a subcontractor issue. What happened was the Trump administration announced possible cuts to that program, so a lot of the subcontractors didn't want to roll the dice to a project that they may not get paid for. So sometimes Washington rhetoric plays a role at home. The 24th Street, just to let you know, we have worked with the Road Commission on that, and CX, the mayor and I actually had a meeting with CX Railroad several years ago to put pressure on them. That is not within the city limits. But even though it's not within the city limits, the mayor and I also value the importance of it, and that's why we're working with CX and the Road Commission to try to get some type of improvements made there. As for the Central Fire Station demolition, holding contractors is very important that we get sure that what we contracted and paid for is right. I recognize you brought your family here tonight, but we stand by the decisions that we made. The egregious violations of our contract that put the city in great liability have been made. Our city attorney will respond to your letter today appropriately, and we stand by our actions. Additionally, I've been the city manager here since 2014. A lot of rhetoric gets played about frivolous lawsuits and the city's paying all this taxpayer amount in settlements. I've been the city manager for 11 years now, and $0 of taxpayer money has been paid out in any type of settlement for some frivolous lawsuit. So that is a hollow talking point. That's all I got.
Okay, city manager, no more comments. We move on to item G, that's our consent agenda. I'd like to hear a motion. Moved by Councilmember Lamb and supported by Mayor Pro Tem Archibald. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, I will proceed to read the, first I get a vote on that. Okay, so let's vote on it and then I'll proceed to read the consent items.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosherak?
Yes.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes, we have 3 items under the consent agenda. Resolution number 6 is confirming and approving single lot special assessments for a large bush and branch pickup in the right-of-way. Number 7, confirming the mayor's reappointment of Mary Williams to the Southside Neighborhood Improvement Authority with a term to expire October 23rd, 2029, and the appointment of Kristen Thompson to fill a vacancy on this board with a term to expire October 23rd, 2029. Resolution number 8, approving the appointment of Aaron Kirschner, say it right? Okay, to the Beautification Commission to fill a vacancy with a term to expire January 30th, 2028. Now we will go back to resolutions, and resolution number 1, please.
Authorizing 24 payments.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Support.
Moved by Councilmember Mosrak, supported by Councilmember Pimenton. Is there any discussion on resolution number 1? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Vote, please.
Councilmember Haremza.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak.
Yes.
Councilmember Payton.
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Mayor Ashford.
Yes. Resolution number 1 carried. Resolution number 2.
Accepting the terms of the Federal Emergency Management Administration Fiscal Year 2024 Assistance to Firefighters Grant in the amount of $116,423.22 to provide technical rescue training for members of the Port Huron Fire Department.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Lamb and supported by
Support.
Councilmember Pemberton. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor and Council, I would just like to thank Chief Nicholson. They teach you to drag hose in the academy, but working and applying through federal grants is not one of those things. But Chief Nicholson does an amazing job looking for resources to help keep our firefighters trained and constantly looking for new monies out there. So kudos to Chief Nicholson.
Okay, thank you. And this keeps them relevant because we never know when we're going to have an emergency. So they need to be trained and brought up to speed.
Yeah, and we have very unique situations here. Like most communities, we have a bridge with high-angle rescue, and then we also have rivers for diving. We also have tunnels for rescues for derailments. So the threats our city faces is very unique for most Michigan communities.
Very neat, very beautiful, but very risky at the same time. We got a lot of water that we have to contend with, plus everything else that's going on in our world today. So we do need to be prepared. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak.
Yes.
Councilmember Payton.
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza.
Yes.
Mayor Ashford.
Yes. Resolution number 3.
Adopting the amended St. Clair County Comprehensive Emergency Management Program to provide for the handling of emergency activities by the county.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Mosrak, second by Councilmember Lamb. Is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor, this is a housekeeping measure. You received your copy via email.
Yeah, I received it. I think I responded, didn't I?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Everybody received theirs? Okay, so no questions about everybody? Okay, so we will call for the vote.
Councilmember Mosrak.
Yes.
Councilmember Payton.
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton.
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald.
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb.
Yes.
Mayor Ashford.
Yes, motion carried. Resolution number 4.
Approving the purchase of 200 trees from Marine City Nursery in the amount of $80,000 to be planted in the fall of 2025 and the spring of 2026 planting seasons.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Pemberton and supported by Councilmember Lamb. And at this time, the city manager have requested time for presentation.
Excellent. Good evening, Madam Mayor. Can everyone hear me okay? I am joined today. This is Jason Kluman. He is the, Coleman, sorry. He is the director of our forestry division. He oversees all of the forestry operations within the city of Port Huron, which is a monumental task. He does so with very limited resources, and he does one hell of a job. Jason is out there whenever a storm hits or straight line winds hits. Him and his team literally put their lives in danger to make sure that our forestry canopy is taken care of, which is very complex, and we're going to go through that tonight. So for the last several years, we have been working on a multi-year tree planting and recovery initiative. I want to talk about that. Why is tree canopy important? Although trees are pretty, there's a whole host of other quality of life issues. It improves air quality. It reduces heat and energy cost. I can tell you I own a home that is shaded, and it is a lot cheaper to cool than a home that was without shade in my previous community. Manages stormwaters and prevents flooding. It can slow down infiltration into the ground, and also the root systems provide really good help with flooding. It supports wildlife and biodiversity. We have our tree rats / squirrels and everywhere in the city living the great life ever in Port Huron because of our wonderful tree system. It also enhances community health and well-being. A healthy tree canopy is critically important to our community. So beyond trees just looking beautiful, there's a whole host, and we go for a mile, about how important trees are to our environment and help with our climate resiliency. That is why we pledged several years ago to plant 1,000 new trees over the next decade, which is a pretty lofty goal, because when we announced this goal, we were just coming out of a financial crisis, and trees are expensive. And so when we announced this goal at the time, that was very lofty to take that type of financial commitment over the next 10 years. Every time I've built you a budget since that time, we have factored this into the budget. Goals and partnerships. Partnerships, one with SEMCOG on a canopy study. So I serve on the Green Initiative for SEMCOG, which is all the regional coalition of governments in Southeast Michigan. I serve on that Green Task Force where we are looking at climate resiliency and the challenge that we face in Metro Detroit and Port Huron, such as flooding, warmer temperatures, what that does. The reason why this is important, why I serve in this committee, is we developed a strategic framework document. That document is required to receive federal block grant funds to the region. So the reason why we created the document is so that we can secure Department of Energy funds, Department of Interior funds, to fund a whole host of issues in Metro Detroit and in East Michigan. So we didn't just create the document for the sake of having a feel-good document. There was federal assistance behind the need for that. Currently, the city has about 25% canopy cover within the city. The goal is to reach 40%. The goal is to reach 40% within the next 20 years, and it's going to take some time and work. We'll go through that. So after the Green Initiative, we were able to get some federal funds to develop a tree canopy study for the entire, I have zoomed in on Port Huron, but we have actually looked at the entire East Michigan region, the SEMCOG region, on studying the canopy cover. And this map is critically important for plant initiatives. So right now we have about 24.9. If you look at our comparable communities, we actually have more tree canopy cover than our comparable communities. One of the comparable communities is under Act 312, what arbitrator has deemed as comparable communities. We actually have more tree canopy than most. We actually have about 6% more than Sterling Heights, about 7% more than Madison Heights. East Point, we're at about 8% more. But there's still significant work to do, but we've had some regional challenges that have led to some tree removals over the last couple of years. For instance, the city was hit in the 1990s and the early 2000s with emerald ash borer. And we actually took down about 180 trees a year for the course of 24 years, which is about 4,200 trees, 4,300 trees, right around there. Now, during that time, we worked with the DNR and DTE, and we did several rounds of grant funding to plant hundreds and hundreds of trees where those ash borer trees come out. We are still working through those documents to find out how many hundreds of trees we planted during that time. You want to talk about emerald ash borer for a second? What is it?
So emerald ash borer, evening Mayor, Council, thanks for having me. Emerald ash borer, it started in Detroit roughly 2002. I think hit here roughly 2004. I was actually in the tree department doing the removals at that time. Once the larva gets into the ash tree, if you don't treat it, it's roughly a matter of 1 year. And the larva goes through, destroys the phloem, and the tree's usually gone in 1 year. So, and ash trees are inherently unstable. Once they're dead, they become brittle and, pretty dangerous actually. So, henceforth, we did so many removals within that time frame. Oakwill. So Oakwill is relatively newer form. It's a fungus transmitted by beetles and also vascularly through the root system of the trees. Currently, we don't really have a great way to treat that, but trimming trees strictly in the winter time when below 30 degrees mitigates any transmission of the fungus. And we're really good with that. We've had occasions where emergencies happen during storms. Really, it's a matter of if we can save the tree, try to trim it up the best you can if it's broken, and, we typically try to end seal everything if we can all possible do that, and, sometimes that'll mitigate any transfer of the fungus. But, storms are hard to deal with. It's a reactive thing when you get a storm. So we just do the best we can with that and trim in the wintertime.
A couple things, one time we had a tree come down in Pine Grove Park and it had oak wilt in it, and they didn't want to move it until it dropped before the 30 degrees. And someone had wrote me this really nasty email, like, why doesn't the city do their job and get rid of that downed tree? It's been sitting there for weeks. And I wrote back, well, there's actually a reason why they haven't removed it yet, because if they remove it, it jeopardizes all the other trees within Pine Grove Park. And we have a lot of heritage trees within Pine Grove Park. Several years ago, it was a beautiful day like today, sunny, no wind, just a gorgeous day. And this lady calls me and she says, is this Mr. Freed? I said, yeah. She goes, do you remember like 3 months ago I called you about a dangerous tree in the road right away? I said, yeah, no, but I take your word for it. She goes, well, it fell today and hit my car. And I'm like, I looked out the window, I'm like, well, there's no storms, there's nothing. If you remember back about 4 or 5 years ago, because of our budget constraints, because of some of the diseases that we had a backlog of dead and dangerous trees throughout the city that legitimately posed a health and safety risk to our residents. I brought forth a resolution of the council at the time to take down 150 using third-party contractors to get those lists out. We knocked out like 150 removals of dead and dangerous trees within a matter of like 30, 90 days. It was crazy how fast we got it done to help remediate those dead and dying trees. 2023, we had straight line winds. I think we made national news for that one. We lost 41 trees, but a significant amount on private property. We actually had people who were trapped in their homes that evening from trees that pinned them in their homes just past the hospital. There was a couple people there that were stuck in their homes. One of the challenges we face is ADA standards within road projects. For instance, we will go in and have to remove trees for a road project, but we are unable to put those trees back in. Several examples would be Lapeer right now. We moved some trees on Lapeer. ADA standards not only represent the slope ratio for going up a ramp, but also the slope ratio side to side. So when we put a road in, we can't have it bent around a tree or around a tree planting. Additionally, we have limited road right-of-way. For instance, on Lapeer, we don't even have enough road right-of-way to put the sidewalk in. We had to go out to all those residents along Lapeer, and they granted us construction easements to even enter their property to put the sidewalks in to meet the ADA standards. So when we do a road project and we take out 10 trees, but only 5 or 6 go back, it's not because we didn't want to plant 10 trees, it's that we can't conform to the new standards that our roads must comply with. Again, also lack of public spaces. This is key. If we're going to continue to rebuild our tree canopy, we can't just focus on public parks and road right-of-ways. We have to focus on the canopy as a whole throughout the city, and that includes private property where people live. We also have atypical land uses within the city of Port Huron. Just the Blue Water Bridge Plaza alone, the construction project they're doing right now, is over 82 acres. If you factor in the bridge, it's over 100 and some acres of deforest part of the city that we don't control. If you were to put that back to normal standards, we'd probably be closer to 30% of canopy cover. We also have the county's largest industrial park. One of the largest industrial parks in the entire region is within the city of Port Huron. So communities that are 5 or 10% have more canopy than Port Huron, they often don't have a blue water bridge and they don't have a massive industrial park. They also don't have 2 large hospital complexes. We have 2 large hospital complexes for the region. We serve medical care for the entire region. So those atypical land uses also factor into our canopy cover. So tree planting update. We planted in 2021 and 22 150 trees. We planted 53 in 2023. Again, we were focused heavily on storm cleanup those years. We planted 23 in 2024 with the budget constraints we had. 55 trees, which are not on the forestry registry because he has his own list of tree plantings, but then within our bid documents for road projects, we actually specify the trees to be planted during road projects. There's another 55 trees there in the last 4 years alone. Tonight's resolution will be fund 200 more trees to be planted this fall and this spring. Now, these are not saplings you get at Earth Day. Remember the Earth Day saplings you walk home from school with? These are 3 to 4 inch diameter trees. And the reason for that is because we're a water community. We're a waterfront community. We have sandy soils in the city of Port Huron. And so if you plant a tree that is less than 3 to 4 inch diameter, there's a good chance it won't survive in our sandy soil. And so by planting those larger trees, we have a better survivability rate with the money we're investing into tree plantings. So in total, by this time in June, and we plant in the fall and early spring because that's the best time to plant. Summertime here, again, it gets dry, it can kill. We will have about 481 large trees within the first 4.5 years of our goal. So we are on pace to meet our goal. The critically important thing is I showed you that tree canopy study that we did with SEMCOG. That is where we are directing the plantings. So we are going to address where trees were removed because of disease or dying or road projects that we couldn't plant back. And we're using the canopy study to look at the most vulnerable areas. So if you look at all the trees we planted in the last several years, I have a whole list of where they're at. They are within the tracks of the tree canopy study where there's less canopy. Significant areas in the south part of the community is where we're planting a lot more trees. Planted 22 trees at Knoxfield. We planted trees at Optimus. A lot of the roadways. I was on 15 in Chestnut. If you do want to get looks from people, on a Sunday morning, drive around 15th Street and just get out of your car and start taking pictures of people's front lawns. And a few people stopped me and said, do you have an interest in my tree? And I was like, well, I need it for a PowerPoint. I had to give them a business card. I said, you can see Monday night. It's going to be a great PowerPoint. So we have planted a significant amount of trees using that map. That map is key for us. Other important thing is an economic and social justice issue. We are also following the Justice 40 census tract, which are lower income communities who lack equitable access to quality of life. We're following those census tract data as well. So if you go on our task force, our green initiatives dashboard, we put great effort into putting census tract data over the canopy study data. It's all factored into quality of life. We were very intentional with that work with my peers. Diversifying our tree stock. There's a whole host of reasons why we want to diversify our tree stock, but if you have an entire city filled with ash trees and emerald borer ash shows up, you got no trees. And so we are intentionally working on diversifying, and we work with arborists, biologists to give us a recommendation list of what are the best trees to plant. We also have adopted the right tree, right place policy, meaning there's no point in planting a really expensive tree under a DTE utility line where in 10 years it's going to horseshoe the thing out anyways. We've all seen how DTE can destroy a tree. Well, they keep the tree there, but it looks ridiculous. And so we're really being intentional about planting a tree where it can grow to its fullest over 150 years and not have to worry about being hacked into because of utility lines. And there's a whole list of it's an unexhaustive list of all the trees we're planting. And if you look, I am blessed that my home has a lot of tree canopy on it, and I love this tree, except the one in the back's about to fall on my house. But it's $4,000 to remove that tree. That's a lot of money. And this photo here was taken, I believe, 3 years ago. I took that photo on an aircraft over Port Huron. We've created some really innovative solutions. Jason here, in all of his hard work, has actually begun starting his own nursery at the facility out on the north end to grow saplings into larger trees so that we have readily available stock should we need to immediately plant a tree or to plant a tree at a cheaper cost. We believe that we can scale this, and what we would like to do is bring the council options to build a larger nursery facility, a couple acres, that's watered and irrigated, where we can begin cropping our own trees to plant throughout the city to help reduce costs and have those on hand, which I think Jason deserves a lot of credit for his innovation. He wasn't bragging about this. I go, so tell me some of the innovative things you're doing, and they're working on this down there on their own initiative. Second is we have developed a citizens portal, which is live on the City of Port Huron. It's www.cityofporthuron/tree. porthuron.org/tree program. From your more qualified deputy manager there. So what that means is we're going to plant 200 trees. If we want to hit the targeted areas, we can't throw 200 trees in the road right away because they're going to be under utility lines. We want to work with residents who have houses and properties within these neighborhoods and say, hey, you're within our targeted area. Would you like a tree to be planted in your backyard or your front yard? So you can go online tonight and you can fill out a tree request form. And what will happen is you will have a lovely visit from Jason or someone of his team who will come look at where you want to plant a tree to see if it's an appropriate area, and then we'll work at what kind of tree you would like to have in your yard. And then we will direct the nursery that we're contracting with to go plant it for us. So that way, we're looking at the ecosystem as a whole as a city, not just boulevards and city parks. We're looking at the canopy as a whole. Now, 481 trees is good. We have to continue this effort, at least 100 to 150 trees for the next 15 years to be where we want to be. I believe we can reach the 40% canopy cover within 15 years. Right now, with the 281 and the additional 200 we're already planted, the 281 trees that we have, they're so young, they're in that 3 to 5 year range, where they currently do not show up in the canopy studies. They're too young. So we don't even know how much of the needle we've moved already. We think it's good. But over the next 15 years, this is going to have to be an annually budgeted, we're going to plant 150 trees every year. Why that's important? Because every year, we're going to lose 40 to 60 trees to disease, death, and old age. So to get ahead of it, you got to plant more than 40 to 60 every year to make a delta difference to actually move the needle. So I think last year we moved like 45, 50 trees off the pull my numbers. But that's the average. So we need to continue doing this for the long term. But I want to applaud Jason and his team, Tom before him, for really ordering 200 trees is easy. Getting them planted logistically, it is a monumental task. This will completely push us to our capacity for the year to plant 200 trees. Like we're up here, we're pretty confident we can get it done, but it's going to be a Herculean effort. But we want to continue it every year. So with that, I will take any questions. Yes?
I have a quick question. So not to be a stickler on the numbers, so you were saying that slide that had by year, can you just speak to why the 53 and 23, was there reasons that we did less those couple years?
Yeah, one, we had significant storm damage to clean up throughout the city, dead and giant, that's where our focuses were, and also budget constraints as well. Trees are very expensive.
Perfect. And then, like I said, so if we're at 21 to 2026 and it was 100 a year, we're about 19 short, right? So
about 19 short, but remember in 2021, I announced that in late October. We didn't get our first tree order until 2022.
Perfect. And then I guess maybe then for next year, to your point, if we do at least 119 to get us on pace, and like you said, we got to build in another 40 or 50 to basically due to lossage. So we're probably looking for 2026 to look at like 180 at least, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So everyone asks me, like, where did you get the 100 trees a year? I didn't just 100 trees a year. So we looked at the data, what we could afford as well. So here's the one thing about public policy is everyone comes up here and we get the list of demands and no one's wrong. Like, we're not wrong. Like, that road needs fixed and we need more trees. And the problem is resources are finite. They are not infinite. We don't have an unlimited amount of money. So we're trying to provide police, fire, and fixed infrastructure while at the same time investing significant amount of money into trees and a host of all other stuff we have to do. And so we're trying to develop a financially stable way in which we can make this long-term. Like, we could easily just dump $500 million in a flash in the pan and then not fund it for a few years, but that's not really sustainable. So I want to financially make it every year for the next 15 years, we have the ability to not only want the trees, but fund the tree program.
Thank you. And I'm kind of learning here as well. But and then as far as you talked about the disease trees and our diversity of what we're getting, is there certain trees that they attack, and are we not replanting some of those that are successful?
Right now, we're not planting ash. The DNR doesn't recommend it. Oak, they do recommend planting still just to keep ahead of oak wilt. And if people and businesses, tree companies practice good trimming, I truly think that we can really mitigate any, loss of oak, red oak strictly, So if that happens, I think it'll be okay. And if we keep planting them, it'll be good as well, so. But and then elm too, but I don't think they recommend that as well right now. So.
Sorry, and one last question, if I may. The spots that you said, hey, we can't put them all, like you said, in every median, and now with the new road guidelines, we can't. what is the call to action? How many trees do you think we need to put in residential? Just rough numbers. I mean, are we talking, do we have enough room to put 50% of the new ones in medians areas, and we're looking for 50% from residents?
Yeah, but we're still gonna put the tree replacements in our road contracts as well. But for instance, you look at Gratiot, we couldn't fit them in the road right away, so we planted more trees in Palmer Park to offset it. So we're trying to be, if you look at where they plant the trees, it's like, this has nothing to do with the road, it's way off into Palmer, but we put that in the contract, like, if you can't get in the road right away, at least get it into the neighborhood somewhere. And so, I mean, based on the demand for the 200 trees, if we find 200 people who want them in their yards, let's go for it. I also think this is our first year right now, we're covering all the costs, but maybe we look at this program in a year and say, who'd be willing to help pay 50% of a tree if we cover the other half, and then we double the amount we can do. And so we really want to look on the community engagement portion of this to see, what the community feels about this. And we also seek out additional grant funds as well. We've been very successful using DNR grants. Every 24, you can only apply for a DNR grant every 24 months. So every 24 months we apply for a DNR grant. This year we're up. The state has already told us though all the DNR funds for tree planting is going to go to the ice damage in northern Michigan, which was absolutely devastating. So highly unlikely we'll get funded this year, but we are hopeful in 24 months we'll get funded again. But again, I mean, if you look at what we're doing, we're looking at the Dead and Dying Tree Initiative, planting more trees and diversifying trees, and those are three key components of any type of forestry management plan. Also is the tree canopy study, which we now have completed, which is a very important tool. And then we'll work with SEMCOG. So now we have the benchmark. We know we're at 24.9. Let's look every year how we can move that up and when we can update that. So we are working at SEMCOG. Can we update that study in 3 years and 5 years to gauge our projects, to really have benchmarks to gauge how we're doing?
And one last.
You said one last.
Sorry, go ahead.
Hang on.
No.
The chair, I went to sleep.
Fair enough.
I didn't recognize nobody.
Excuse me, are you finished?
I did have one quick one.
Okay, that's my point.
James, as far as timing, this sounds like a lot to coordinate. We just said for people to sign up if they want a tree. Ideally, how quickly would you like that? Like, do we need to know in the next 60 days so we can plan this out for the spring? I just want to put a sense of urgency of maybe getting in a request if they need it.
Well, the benefits of being a city manager is on some things like coordination, you just get to punt to Jason's desk. So Jason already has 4 people who have signed up, and that's before we even really announced it a couple hours ago. And so we really don't know how this will go.
Okay. I'm really done now.
Okay, thank you, okay. So on the citizens portal, will residents be able to go in and see when trees are removed, when they're planted?
We can do that. We
Okay.
can build this out. So we just built this because we want to wait for the residents to respond.
Right.
But all of that is a possibility.
Okay.
I was just thinking tonight, like, what a refreshing, when I first got here in 2014, we thought the sky was falling financially. And now the biggest issue on our agenda tonight is how many trees are we going to plant? Like, we've come a long way. This is a good problem to have. I want to make this as transparent as possible with benchmarks. So if we're going to spend significant amount of money, we're talking 100 to 150 grand a year on tree plantings. That's not including our grant funds. We should be able to benchmark it for the citizens. Here's how many we removed this year, here's how many we planted this year, and here's a list every year going forward. So we will put that up there every year. So what we will commit tonight is that at the closeout of every season, I will put a list of every tree that was removed, and I will put a list of every tree that was planted. And we will put that on the portal so people can see, and we'll do the delta difference. How many trees are we planting? So if some years we fall short, well, we'll address that in our budget in the spring. Does that make sense?
And Jason, do we have a dedicated arborist?
We contract one right now.
Okay.
So Jake Carafel.
Thank you.
Good question for that. And just so you know, an arborist was required for a lot of the grants we get. So we have to refer to a subject matter expert on picking the trees, how we're going to maintain the trees, per required by the grant. So the DNR grant does require arborist verification of what our efforts.
You all set? Yes. No, okay. Any more questions?
Mayor Ashford? If I could real quick, James, thank you, Jason, for everything you and your staff do, and nice presentation, James. If we do approve this tonight, out of the 200 trees, have the types of trees already been decided, or is that going to be kind of decided per the request of the residents?
It'll probably be a revolving situation. We kind of already missed our fall order through Marine City Nursery, so going forward, we'll probably put in a large order through winter to have what we need to do going forward in the spring.
Gotcha.
So, and
Okay.
it'll probably be a revolving list of what
Okay.
we have.
Thank you.
All set, Councilmember?
Yes.
Okay. Mayor Tim?
Yeah, sure. James, would I be correct in assuming that at the end of the 15 years, we would still build in at least enough every budget to replace whatever's lost in those years so that we don't lose ground 15 years from now?
Yes.
Thank you.
I will say, there's a whole deep Google dive on heritage trees. And I'm a big believer in heritage trees. It was my fast scheme. I was going to grow heritage trees from seedlings. But a heritage tree is, if you have a tree that's several hundred years old, like we have in Pine Grove Park and some of our other parks around the city, there are studies out there that say these trees have adapted to our environment and to our climate, and they're more resilient. And so the offspring of these trees are more resilient to our area. So if you take trees come from acorns, right? Right? Okay. Oak trees. Okay. So if you take an acorn from an oak tree and plant it from a heritage tree, there's studies that will say that acorn has genetic adaptation specifically for Port Huron. So I would love to grow some of our own heritage trees to replant within the city of Port Huron, because there's a whole science study out there on it that I got into one night, but it's very, very interesting. But what I want folks to know is we were tracking numbers tonight from 1992. That's 35, 36 years ago. We have to be intentional about this for the next 15 to 20 years to offset all of those challenges that we've had. The good news is we're in a better position than most communities in the region, and we've been actively doing this for years now, and we have a very, very good team on board doing it.
All set?
Before I go, Jason was a little nervous about doing this thing, but you did an excellent job, Jason. You did a fantastic job. There's a lot of dangerous jobs in the city. Our forestry department has an incredibly dangerous job. The amount of PPE and training they have a small team, but they are highly skilled, highly sophisticated. I watch them work. They got like headphones on, and it's crazy what they do. But I just want Jason to know, thank you for your service and what you've done. You do an absolutely incredible job for the citizens of Port Huron, and I do hope the guys in the field also know that we appreciate them and what they've done.
Jason, also on behalf of the city council and the mayor, we also thank you for all that you do and continue to do.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, hearing no more questions or anything up here, we call the roll, please.
Councilmember Payton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pemberton?
Yes.
Councilmember Archibald?
Yes.
Councilmember Haremza?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamb?
Yes.
Councilmember Mosrak?
Yes.
Mayor Ashford?
Yes. Resolution number 5, please.
Supporting the establishment of a mayoral reforestation task force for the purpose of stabilizing and increasing the city's tree canopy coverage, developing a comprehensive forestry management plan, and advancing equitable access to green space across all neighborhoods.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Payton, second. Is there a second? So with no second, the motion fails. But I would like to read something, just for the minutes. This came by me on September the 18th, and from one of our residents. It says, this is response. It says, Jim, thank you for your email proposal reference to a reforestation task force. I will look forward in terms of getting a report from the city manager to see where we are in terms of the status update and a situational need to create a task force. I would like to wait. I didn't recognize you. I'm not finished. I would like to weigh in with the council.
That's not how this works, Mayor Ashford. Mayor Ashford.
I didn't recognize you. I'm speaking. It's my meeting.
We have not brought this to the table, so it cannot be discussed.
Yes, this can be read.
No, it cannot.
Can I read this? Yeah. talking to you if I can't read it. I read them before, so I just want to know what the difference is now.
So, to be clear, the parliamentarian is actually your city clerk. If
Oh.
she has the answer, if she needs my advice, I'm here to give her advice, but technically, she is the parliamentarian on this, but we have discussed this issue of
I
point
mean,
of order before.
where I had read them before, and I read it. So is there something going to change tonight? Because I respect that, that's fine. So I know we did it before, so I just want to know what's the
I
difference
mean,
is now.
technically, then it did fail, so.
Okay, it
it's-
did
Yep,
fail,
so we
okay.
should not be discussing
Okay, well, I will
it. You
not
would need a
dis-
second for that
Oh, okay.
discussion.
All right, so I will not do that, okay. All right, so I just have comments. So the comments are that, I did send this out and, to the city manager, to let him know we needed the council to weigh in on something like this, because you always need, in my opinion, a status update of where you are. So that moved him to present this to you tonight, and I'm glad that he did do that, because we asked for that through my email. So this was two different things. You're talking about what we're doing and what we need to do. The case was made, and made very well, but it's two different things. The task force was asking me, as their mayor and representative, that we all up here got elected to listen to the people. And they were passionate about the trees in the city of Port Huron. And so to I think any council in the land would just be elated to have people come forth, their residents come forth and want to come
Mayor
together
Ashford,
to help.
Again, point of order, we're not supposed to be discussing this.
I'm not discussing,
So if-
these are comments.
You are still discussing
He
the
has
issue.
comments. So anyway, make a long story short, so this is where this is. It's just that it's a form of listening to you, listening to our public that wants to come together to make a difference, to work together with us. And the council still has a last say, so they don't have anything. We have numerous boards and commission. This is a task force. It's not a board or a commission. It's temporary. So that's what I wanted to share with you, so you'll know just what is happening. So we're telling you that we're either, don't want to have to accept this or whatever, so it fails. So that's the message.
Madam Mayor?
Okay, that's it.
Madam Mayor, just a quick comment. I provided the council primary source documentation to you and the council. This presentation, this purchase order has been in the work for 4 months. It had nothing to do with your resolution tonight. The purchase order tonight for the trees, that's been in the work for several months.
that
It had
already
nothing
passed.
to.
We're on the
But you
other
said
one.
tonight that it came because of your resolution. It did not. It was in the work for months.
No, I was saying the data points, and we're not supposed to discuss it, so we'll talk offline. But other than that, because I'm respecting what you're just saying.
Announcements.
Okay, so with that, and I'd like to thank you all for your, for whatever. Just thank you for your lack of consideration. So right now, the announcements, don't forget the annual Cop and Jock spaghetti dinner is going to be held tomorrow, Tuesday, October 14th, from 4:30 to 7:30 at the Masonic Ballroom at 927 6th Street. And also, in the way of announcement, our leaf pickup at the curb began the week of October the 20th and runs through November the 29th. And a newsletter with more details will be in the mail to all residents. And then I'd like to request of the city manager that he reports out to us about the contractor review that came to us tonight that did the River Street. If we could have some kind of explanation as to why he's not getting paid.
Because he didn't do the job, and the city attorney will
Well, I still would
respond.
like to see some language to
Yep.
that effect.
I believe I've already provided that to the council.
I didn't get it. And if you send it again. Okay, with that, is there anything else coming before the Port Huron City Council?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I would just like to congratulate Bobby Hill in our Streets Department. He'll be retiring this week after 25 years of service to the city of Port Huron. So thank you, Mr. Hill, for your dedication to the community.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And then also, we do have another announcement up here. We have 20 vacancies that are open on our boards and commission. And if you have, even here tonight, I have some applications here. If you're interested in serving on any of our boards, we have 20 openings. If you want, this was probably one of my campaign things, to get the people more involved with the city so you can see up front what's going on, to be a part of it, to help make a difference. But if you're interested in any way and want to take these, it lists our boards and commissions, and I'll tell you, the meetings, some meetings are just as deemed necessary, so it's not, you know, cutting some of them are 3 years or whatever, but it explains exactly what the jobs are of the boards and commissions. So even if you take one and you're not interested in it, but just take one and do that. So we have to, instead of keep saying, come join a board, well, what is it? What does it look like? So this is what it looks like. So come up and, you know, I'll be more than happy to share this with you. Thank you. So is there a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.